Worry
This
about
conference will now be recorded.
every class it was recorded. Okay, the recording I'm uploading into the Canvas playlist. But if you want to give the permissions to access that particular record, make sure that I should have your mail IDs. Okay, as of now I couldn't get the mail IDs from the Pavani side, but a few hours back only I got the mail IDs from the Akhilesh and Rajesh side. Okay, and see, so Canvas instructor login. So I'm uploading the each and every recording into this particular LMS management. So LMS platform. It's canvas.instructor.com. So the name of the batch is okay. Okay, so here I would like to go for creating the new course with your batch. I think so. It's a one or two. Yeah, yes. I already created. It's ADS 302 is our batch name. Okay, so I already created this particular recording playlist. So if you want to be access this particular recordings, I have to give you your mail IDs over here so that you will get the notification through mail itself. So once if you are accessed, if you are so what you can do, you have to set your password and username so that you can able to access that particular recordings. Okay, so can you please provide me your mail IDs in the chat so that I can give you permissions at the moment itself? Okay, so okay, so here Akhilesh, okay, is fine. Next one is Rajesh, yeah. So from the Rajesh, okay, and next one is Srileka, okay, 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 Pavani, okay. So add. So this is Akhilesh, right? Akhilesh. Okay, so what about this one? Rajesh, right? Okay, so here it is, Srileka. Okay, so this is Pavani, right? Okay, so guys, you will get the notification through mail. Okay, so you have to click on the get started option in the Canvas. Okay, so that kind of mail you might be getting in a few minutes. So once if you click on the get started, there you might have the two options, decline and accept. So you must accept that one. If you click on accept, then again we have two options. If you have already account or if you don't have an account of Canvas. So if you have an account, then you can log in. Okay, if you don't have an account, then you make sure that you should set your own password, and whatever the mail ID you mention here and whatever the password you set yourself. So with help of those things, we can access this particular recordings. Okay, I hope you clear my point. So don't wait for recordings. So within once the class is done, then I can try to upload it to the recording into the session. And one more thing I got from the confirmation from the people. So you guys are looking for assignments once the class is done. Definitely you will get the assignments, but thing is that so there is some kind of time period to start the assignments because of still if I completed the Python operators, so we are on the just the basics only. Once I completed the basic level of Python, when I started intermediate level, then that time onwards we are going to be starting a lot of assignments. Okay, I hope you clear my point. Oh, okay. So your mail ID is wrong. Okay. So Rajesh mail ID, right? Let's okay. So Rajesh, now tell me your mail ID.
R
R
VUNN
VUNN
AM
AM
359
359
@gmail.com.
at gmail.com. So have anyone received the mail from the Canvas?
I received it.
Okay, just wait a minute. I just need to be look your no. I think Pavani. Oh, you were access. I think so. Okay, fine. So in the same way, how the Pavani is dead, in the same way you can try to do it actually. Okay, I think you already done it. Okay, yeah, no problem. If you got the mail, then we can start accessing of recordings. Okay, so I'm closing this particular Canvas information. If you are facing any kind of problem while accessing of recording, please let me know. I will try to answer it. Okay. So, have I explained anything in yesterday class? I think we should install any one of the software, right? Which software we are going to be installing in yesterday class?
Anaconda.
Anaconda. So someone is using PyCharm, someone is using Anaconda, right? So if you are not able to install the software in your local machine, okay. So if you want to be work with Python programming language, so the Google is also providing the platform to work with Python programming language, which is the collab collab Google. You just Google it, something like collab Google. Okay, there will have option collab.research.google.com. You just click on it. Once if you click on this one, then it might be no, so you might be getting this kind of page, and make sure that you should log in or through your Gmail. Okay, so once if you are able to access this particular collab.research.google.com, this is absolutely free. You don't need to pay anything if and only if the 15 GB is done. Okay, and here we have an option file, right? So once if you click on the file, then you click on the new notebook, then it was opened the a new interactive Python notebook file. Okay, here we can work with Python programming language on Google Cloud. Okay, if for example, if you're working with AWS cloud, then maybe AWS also providing the a platform to work with Python programming language. Okay, and for example, if you're working with Azure cloud, maybe Azure also providing a platform to work with the Python programming language. Okay, so meanwhile, Google also giving a wonderful opportunity to us to work with Python programming language, and it was not in CPU level, it was in GPU level. Okay, so the difference between the CPU and GPU, the only difference is the speed. Okay, so both are used for two processing purpose only, but CPU, it was in a it was it's a central processing unit. So it was very the speed will be little less when you compare with the GPU. Okay, so most of the applications, when the data is huge, the CPU cannot be handled. So that's the reason cloud people, they are using a lot of GPUs like Nvidia, something like this. Okay, and so Google is having an inbuilt GPU. I mean, the Google is providing inbuilt GPU for us. We don't need to buy anything, but basically if you want to use the GPU, you have to pay a lot of money actually. Okay, but so it's a free of cost, we are able to access the Google Colab, and so we can open the new Jupyter file, and it was default, it was untitled, which means that there is no name for it, and you can rename, you can select this particular box and we can rename it. So here I just want to work with Python programming language, right? So we can start with the Python basic syntax, and the first thing is that it's a 21. I mean, so first I can give the name. The file format is month and the date and year, and followed by the topic name. It's a Python basic syntax. See guys, I'm not explaining about the importance of the Python and other stuff. So it might be available in a lot of resources. I'm directly jumping into understanding of Python programming language. The Python is just a programming language. It was the very simplest programming language in the world. I think everyone know it. Now you can conclude at that particular point actually. Okay. For example, I'm just giving some task for you. Addition of two numbers. So if you're very familiar, if you're new to a Python programming language, don't worry. So let me consider a small program, addition of two numbers. Okay. So this is very small program, right? Addition of two numbers is a very small number. For example, to hold some data, you have to use the variable, and the variable was holding some data. For example, where is my variable, and which is holding the data is 12. For example, or else we have one more variable which is a b, and which is having the data is 45. For example, I want to do addition, right? So if you want to display anything on the screen, make sure that we should use the print function. See, if you are the new to Python programming language, if you see this particular program, if you see this particular program, would you like to understand this particular what exactly this particular box is doing? I mean, this particular program is doing, which is having the two numbers, and it was doing just addition of two numbers, right? Yes or no? And we can write the code here, and we can execute, and we are getting output here itself. And again, one more box was created. One more box was created. So here we can write some print function to display something on the screen. For example, if you want to display some string on the screen, make sure that that particular word it was in a double quote actually. Okay, so you can say that it's a welcome to a Python programming language. Welcome to Python programming language. Okay, this is the text I was trying to display on the screen, and this session is this batch is okay. This batch is ADS. ADS means Advanced Data Science 302 batch. Okay, so we can just print some, you can just print some statement on the screen, just we can use the print function. And if you want to display some text, make sure that you should write that particular text in the within the single quotes or double quotes. Okay, so this is the way we can use the print function actually. See, here what I'm trying to tell you, when you're writing the program, when you're writing any program, it might be Java program, it might be C program, it might be Python program, it might be any programming language you're trying to be using to build some particular software. Okay, the program which is consisting the two things actually, so which is consisting the two instructions, the program which is consisting two instructions, what are those? Can anyone answer this particular question? So if you go and work with any programming language, it might be C, C++, Python, Java, .NET, whatever it is. Okay. So the programming language which is consisting the two kind of instructions, or the program which consisting the two kind of instructions. The first one is what it is.
One is
One is the
machine.
comment, one is the
Yeah.
comments, and the second one is statements. So comments means is different definition, and statements is different definition. These comments and statements could be combined in one particular program, but comments are mission cannot be read it, mission cannot be understood actually. It's just a text. Simply we can say that text can be hidden by comments. Okay, so whatever the text you want to write on the program, but that particular text, CPU definitely read your text actually. By the time it might be raising some error, okay, if you're not make the comments. So the text can be hidden. For that one we are going to be using the comments. So in case of Python programming language, we can comment the two ways. One is the single line comment, that means we can comment only one line. For example, you want to comment the multiple lines in one shot, then we can say that it's a multi-line comment. Multi-line a comment. So that means we can comment multiple lines in one shot, and if you want to comment only one line, then we can use the single line comment actually. Okay, but how we can able to implement the single line comment, and how we can able to implement the multi-line comment? See, something which is started with the line which is started with hash character, then it could be the single line comment. And so something which is there in inside of the triple quotes, then it's a multi-line comment actually. Okay, see, after that one we can write some print statement. So here the print is the statement actually. So what is mean that statement? So statements can be instructions, and the instructions can be readable by CPU. Okay, can be readable by the CPU or can be executable. Simply we can say that it is executable or readable by the CPU, that we are calling it a statement. So here print allow is the statement, so that it was executed. Once the print statement was executed and it was displaying this output on the screen itself. Okay, but try to understand, this entire script was not executed by the CPU. The reason is what the reason is here, it was hidden. It was hidden, simply it was hidden. So how you hided this particular entire script? So you started with hash character, so this entire green color, it was in a comment actually, and meanwhile this is the red color line, right? This entire all red color lines was in a triple quotes, right? So it's a multi-line comment actually. I hope you clear what exactly the statements and comments. Is there any questions? So if you want to run this particular cell, we just have this particular box, we just click on it so that you can able to execute this particular box. So I'm just waiting for your confirmation. Did you got my point or not?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So would you like to execute the same statements in your computer? If you're not installed any software for working with Python programming language, we can use your Google. If you already installed that some software to work with Python programming language, we can open that particular software and we can work with that. We can work with this particular statements. Can you do it now? Can you please execute the statements in your computer? Done. That's great. Everyone, Rajesh, Srilekha,
Yes.
Pavani. Yes,
Yep.
Pavani is done. Akhilesh is done. What about Rajesh and Srilekha?
Done.
Okay, fine. So this is the way we can build the comments and instruction in a program. These comments and statements, when you combine, then only it's a program actually. Okay, the program, it might be consisting the comments as well as statements. That's fine. When you're working with any programming language, so every programming language which is having the two words. How many words? There are two names. There are two words are available in any programming language. So what are the names? What are the words are there in a programming language? The first one is the keywords. What is second one?
Variables.
It's not it's identifier. Variables
Sorry.
is the type of the identifier. Okay, variables is also
Okay.
correct, but thing is that variable is the example of the identifier. Okay, so let's talk about keywords and identifier. Okay, seeing keywords means which are natural words, something means which are already defined by the time of creating of that specific programming language. For example, if you're working with the C programming language, the C programming language which is there some names already in a C program. Okay, those names we are calling it as C keywords. When you're working with Python programming language, might the Python programming language also having some predefined names inside of the Python source code. Okay, those particular names might it can be used in further classes or further topics actually. Okay, so simply I would like to tell you what are the names which are predefined, which are predefined words in Python. Okay, that particular keywords we are calling it say Python keywords. What about identifier? So here identifiers are not predefined. So here the programmer has to be defined some names. Programmer defined words we are calling it say Python identifiers, Python program. Okay, I hope you clear the difference between the keywords and connected from the mobile. Don't know the password of laptop. Don't worry, Srilekha. Be cool. Okay, just listen my points. Okay, that is also fine. Maybe you can easily grasp the information when you are concentrated hearing things. Okay, yeah. So there are two kind of words in any programming language. The first one is the keywords and the second one is identifier. Okay, the keywords means Some of the words are already defined inside of the programming language. Those names we are calling it the keywords. And what are the names which can be defined by the programmer based upon his requirement? Maybe some situation he needs some names. Okay, by the time you should use the identifiers concepts. I hope you clear. Let's see some examples of the keywords and what are the keywords are there and how many keywords are there in Python programming language. Don't worry, I can show you all keywords in one shot. So we have the keyword import. Import itself is a keyword. With help of the import keyword, some libraries we can include it in our program actually. Okay, so keyword is a library. Okay, sorry, import is the keyword and keyword is the library. Try to understand my point. This import is the keyword, but keyword is the library. This keyword is a library. This library, inside of this library, there is some KW list is there. That particular list, KW means keywords. Okay, KW list which consisting the all the keywords actually. Okay, see, you can see here false, none, true, and, as, assert, asynchronous, await, break, class, continue, def, del, elif, else, except. Finally, like this, we have approximately 35 keywords are there. If you want to know that how many number of keywords are there, simply we can print the length of that particular KW list. Length is the function. It can help you to know the how many number of elements are there. Okay, so with help of the length function, we can return the length of this particular list. Length means each and every string is one. Okay, so here I have the 35 keywords are there in Python programming language. Okay, don't by heart this all keywords. I can explain you each and every keyword once the concept is comes. Okay, but anyway, for understanding purpose, I would like to tell you some example. Okay, for example, you created one variable and which is holding some data. You can print this one. Okay, and after some time also you can print one more time. So you're not defining the var, but you're printing it one more time because of this is the var which is inheriting from the previous cell. Okay, so this is the 123. Again we are printing 123. For example, we can print one more time a var. Again we are printing the 123 only. See, you are defining the 123 into one particular variable and we can able to access that variable in any time, any situation within a program. That's fine, but I want to delete this particular data. How should I delete it? We have the del keyword. Del is the keyword. With help of the del keyword, we can able to delete the some names, some information inside of the program. Once if you deleted, try to be access the same variable var. It could be an error. Previously you are try to print the var and we got the output is 123. Once if you delete it, then you are unable to access that particular data. So how you delete it? Here we have a del keyword. You can see whether the del keyword is there inside of it or not. Yes, here we have it. Are you following my point? Del is the keyword. With help of the del keyword, we are deleted the some objects. Okay, that's fine. And meanwhile, we have the if, else, while, for. These are the keywords we can use for somewhat control statements. For example, we have some data. Let me consider I have a string soc and I have the variable b and which is having the o. Okay, so I want to check my o is available in a or not. So simply we can have a keyword in keyword b in a. If b is available in the group of elements in a, then it can be written as the true. So here we can try to observe here in is the keyword. Whether the in is there or not, we can check here. See, in is there, right? Okay, in is the keyword. Here in is the keyword. It can performing the to check one particular element is the member for another group of elements or not. Okay, let me consider a is having some data. A is having some data and B is also having some data. Okay, so and for example, let me consider yes, anything fine, SOC or SOC, and you're assigning the B equal to A. Let me go for find out the memory location. How should I find the memory location in Python programming language? We have a function is id. With help of the id, it can be returns the memory location of the any object. So here I'm returning the memory location of A and memory location of B. Clearly observe here, if the both memory locations are same or not. If the both memory locations are same or not. Of course, it's the same, right? So when the both memory locations are same, whether it is same or not, if you want to know it, then we can use the is keyword. You're not checking with the data, you are checking with the memory location. That's you need to remember it. So for more understanding purpose of is keyword, what I'm doing here I have the SOC soft tech, and same SOC soft tech I can mention here, and try to careful observe here. The A is also having the same, A and B having the same data, but A memory location is different and B memory location is different. When the A memory location and B memory locations are different, if I'm using the is keyword, then it was returns the false. That means here the is the keyword. It will help you to check any two objects are sharing the same memory location or not. Is it clear? Such kind of operations we can performing with help of the this particular keywords only. So each and every keyword I can explain you once the concept is comes. Okay. So if I started data types concept, maybe I can introduce some keywords. If I started operators concept, then I can introduce some keywords. If I started the control statement, then I can introduce some keywords. If I started function, then I can introduce some keywords actually. So depends upon the topic, based on the topic wise, I can able to explain you each and every keyword. I hope you clear my point. So
Yeah,
as of try to
I have a
understood.
quick.
Yeah, just 1 second. As of now, you just try to understood. Keywords are the predefined names. It is very much useful in the program. Okay. So in upcoming classes, we are going to be understanding the each and every keyword. Yes. Now tell me, what's your question?
Is it because like earlier A was not a defined in quotes and it was treating it as a different type of data variable and or different type of element, and when you are in the second example, both are in quotes and that's why the memory locations are different?
No, you can see. So here
Okay.
also SOC, here also SOC. Both are the same data only, right?
Okay.
But unfortunately, the A and the B are same memory location. Okay. And so that is was it was returns the true, and here A and B also having the same data, but unfortunately these both are different memory location, and it was returns the false. And why it was different memory location, that I can explain in upcoming classes. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
When I started string data type, but as of now I was not started any string data type,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I started string data type, every data type having its own characteristics. By the time I can explain in a clear way. So before that one, I'm just introducing you some keywords. Okay, for understanding, is there any necessities there or not in a programming language? Of course it's having it. Okay, what is the necessity in the sense, every concept it might having some keywords, they're already defined. So if you don't know those particular keywords, we cannot use that particular concept in our programs. Okay. Any
Okay.
questions regarding about keywords? Yep. So now let's talk about identifier. So here only I can explain you the identifiers concept. So I already told you identifiers is the programmer defined name. Then what is the purpose the programmer has to be defined the names? Okay. So maybe some of the names are, so name entities. If you want to give the names for, variables, so what is variables I can explain you, and what is functions I can explain you, and what is classes I can explain in further classes. As of now you can try to understand variables, functions and classes. It must need some name to identify. Okay, if you want to identify the variable, if you want to identify the functions, if you want to identify the classes, make sure that everything it should have some namespace, or it should have some name. So with help of the naming conventions only, we can able to identify the variables, we can identify the functions, we can identify the classes, so that we are calling it say identifiers. Okay, the names for identify the variables and functions and classes, those particular names we are calling it say identifiers. Okay, I hope you clear this point as well. Any question?
No.
No, that's great. So now, if you want to give the names for variables and functions and classes, make sure that you should follow some rules. What are the rules we should follow it? The first rule is we can use the alphabets. We can use the alphabets. So I can list these rules, then after I can explain you with a example of the variable. Okay, we can use the digits, and next one is we can use the underscore. Okay, so as of now I am just included only 3 rules only. There are 3 more rules are there that I can show you once I explain the variable concept. So let's talk about the variable. So what is mean that variable? Can tell me what is variable? What is variable?
Uh, it's references an object that can change based on the developer giving it.
Yeah, that's good. So it's a variables are the referencing names, referenced names. Okay, so what is referencing? Referencing names to the data. Okay, if we have some data, if you want to referencing with the name, then we can use the variables. Okay, basically this particular data will be holding into some memory locations, right? Meanwhile, we can say the variables are referencing the memory locations of the data. Okay, referencing the memory locations. The names, simply we can say that the definition I'm writing here, the names, variables is nothing but it's the names, or you can say that it's identifiers. Okay, you can simply say that it's a identifier or names. The names or identifiers are referencing the memory locations of any data. Memory locations of data elements. If we have some particular data elements, so the data elements are holding, the data elements are stored in some specific memory location, right? If you want to access that particular data, make sure that you should know that particular memory location. It's a very complicated to remember the each and every memory location. So that reason, that particular memory location we are referencing with some name. That particular name we are calling it say a variable. Is it clear? Is it clear or not?
Yes.
Yes. So when you are building some variables, or when you are defining some variables in Python programming language, make sure that you should follow some syntax. The syntax is identifier. The first one is the identifier. Here identifier means it's just a name, guys. Identifier and following by the data. The data can be anything again. The data, it can be anything. Okay. So let's see, you don't need to declare the variables before using it. In case of Python programming language, directly we can assign the data because of Python is the dynamic programming language. You don't need to declare the variables before using it. Okay. So for example, we have the variable a, and which is storing the 12. And if you want to find out the memory location, then we can find the memory location of a. And if you want to print the data, what it is there in that particular memory location, we can use the print function. Okay, so let me do on what you can do now. For example, you have some data, we have some data is 12, and after you are assigning the data 12 to my a, I used that particular data. After some time, I changed the data inside of the a. Okay, instead of the a, instead of the 12, I changed as the 45. This particular situation, is it memory locations are same or different? Tell me. Is the memory location of a is same for the both cases? Here a equal to 12, here a equal to 45. So the memory location of a while I'm storing the 12, the memory location of a while I'm storing 45, is it same or different? It could
It's
be
different.
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 It's a different. Why? Why?
Since it's already being used once, I think it will try to write to a different
But
location.
you can go, you can just try to recheck yourself. In case of C programming language, first we are declaring the variables. Okay, for example, you're going to be declaring the first data type and the variable name, right? When you're declaring that, it is creating some space and with some name or some name var, and after some time we are holding the 20, and this 10, it could be a 20, 10, whatever it is, it could be holding into this particular memory location only. And for example, this memory location is 1000. After some time, you changed, instead of the 20, you changed it as the 40. Then that time, within the same memory location, the data as updated as the 40. Okay, this is happening in case of C programming language. But in case of Python programming language, what is happening? So when you created the a equal to 12, that means there is some memory location. This is my 12, and this particular, for example, this is my some 1000. So within 1000 memory location, we have the 12 is there. Okay, whenever you are assigning the a equal to 12, then which is referencing the this particular memory location data. Okay, after some time, 45 it was somewhere else. So the 45, it was in a 2000 memory location. Okay, whenever you're assigning the 45 to my a, so the connection was breaked. The connection has breaked, and the same name which is referencing to the different memory location for different data elements. Okay, so in case of C programming language, so even if you change the data, so the memory location was not changed. But in case of Python programming language, every time, so based upon the data, so the memory location can be updated. So once if you're updating the data in the variable, automatically the memory location also can be updated. Is it clear? Is this clear, my point, or not?
Yes.
Can you please confirm me, Pavani,
Yep, that
Rajesh,
makes
and Srilekha? I hope you clear my points, right?
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Okay. So now I already told you, right? We have to follow some rules while I'm creating the identifier, right? Whether the variable is following this particular rules or not, we'll check now. Checking the identifier rules. You understood the identifier and variable, right? Now we are going to be checking the identifier rules. Okay. Some situations you might be getting error, some situation you are not getting an error. I already told you the variable, it might be, the identifier, it can be uppercase letters and lowercase letters. Some situation we can use the combination of the uppercase or lowercase, which doesn't have any kind of issue. Okay, and we can use it the digits. We can use it the digits by creating the identifier. Okay, and we can use the underscore by creating of the variables, right? So these three situations, we were not getting any kind of error. We are not getting any kind of error. So 4R. Okay, and meanwhile we can try to print the v underscore r. So these three situations we are getting the result. So that means the identifier, it might having the alphabets, it might having the digits, it might having the underscore, or maybe only alphabets. Okay, so that's fine. As of now, this is fine. Now for the same example, what I'm doing here, I started with a digit. When I started with a digit, so it could be an error. So you might be getting the syntax error. The syntax error, why we are getting here, so we can use the digits, but if I started with the digit, that could be error. So you can say don't start with digits. What happens if I started with underscore? What happens if I started with underscore? I think we won't get any error. We won't get any error. The underscore position can be anything. The only thing is that the digit position, it was not in a first position. It can be any position except one first position. This is fine. So I can use some kind of special characters. So for example, at the rate symbol, I would like to use it. So at the rate is my special characters. If I use it the special character, again it could be the syntax error only. Okay, let me try to note this information. Don't use special characters. If I use the special characters while I'm creating the identifier, then it could be an error. Okay, I hope you clear my point. Can you confirm me? Did you got my point or not?
Yes, got it.
Okay, now, so we have some keywords, right? So if I use some keywords, what happens? While is the keyword. If I use the while as the identifier, because of while is the keyword. If I use the keyword as identifier, then it could be the syntax error. So you can mention here, don't use keywords. What are the 35 keywords we have it? Those 35 keywords we can't be use it. Okay, we can't be use it. For example, this is wide only, but if I use only one character is uppercase character, rest of the things are a smaller case letter character, even this is also while, right? But this situation we are not getting any error. Why? What is the difference of these two things? Here we got an error, but why we are not getting any error here? So while is the keyword which is there in a 35 list, the list of 35 elements. Okay, but this is also while only, but here we are not getting any error, but here we got the syntax error. So what is the why?
I think the language is case sensitive.
Of course. So Python language was the case sensitive. The Python programming language, it's not like a SQL. In case of SQL, uppercase characters, lowercase characters can be the same. But when it comes to the Python programming language, uppercase characters are different and the smaller case characters are different actually. Okay, because of that one, okay. And so previous one we got an error, and present one we are not getting any error. I hope you clear my point. So if you
Yep.
have any questions, please let me know.
No
I'm
questions.
good.
No questions. And guys, whatever I explained for you, and those things we can try to be execute in our local mission, okay, or else at least in a Google Colab. And let's try to be understanding the data types. This particular data types concepts I can explain you by tomorrow class. Because of data types, it was taking some lengthy time. It won't be possible to finish it in a 10 minutes. Okay, so we can try to understand the data type concept by tomorrow with the piece of brain. Okay, now here I would like to introduce some functions here instead of waste of much time. So print is the function. It can help you to display purpose. So before we understanding the data types, let's try to go for understanding some functions. Print is the function. It can help you to display purpose. Okay, and next one is I introduced the id function, right? What is the use of the id function? To know the memory location. Meanwhile, if you want to know the data type of any variable, then we can use the type function. So those particular functions I can explain you by tomorrow class, or else if you want it, we can see some example. For example, we are holding some information. I want to know what type of data the variable a. Okay, for that one we can use the type function. For that one we can use the type function. It was returns the integer data type. That means here 123 is the integer data type. So for example, if I try to be hold some string inside of the, okay, in a variable a, for example soc, here soc is the string. So like this we have some data types are there. Those particular data types we can try to be understood by tomorrow's lecture. Okay, and today's class I would like to go for upload. I would like to upload into the our no. So this file we can open, but we should open from the Jupyter notebook only, or else you can open the Google Colab and we can open from the open notebook or upload notebook. Okay, first we should upload, then we can open it. So let me go for upload this particular file in the canvas. Okay, every class related files also I can able to upload here itself. And so Jupyter file format files we can't be opened directly. So you should have a software, either Jupyter notebook, or else from the Google Colab we can upload, then we can open it. Okay, how many people you guys are able to access? So Sririka and Akhilesh, you both are not accessed this particular recordings link. So can you please check your mail IDs, and so please accept the canvas and click on the get started, then accept the the playlist. After that one You can set your own password with the new Canvas account. Okay, so that with help of that particular account and credential, with help of that particular Gmail and password, we can able to access this LMS platform. I hope you clear. So
Got it.
for particular class, at least we can practice in your local missions after you download it of the Anaconda, or else we can open from the Google Colab, we can practice it. Okay. And guys, if you have any question, please let me know. I can wait for some time to understand your questions and other stuff.
Do we have any assignment for today?
Pavani, that's already told you, right? The assignment is that whatever I explained for today's class, that same thing we can try to be execute. Okay. So
Oh, okay.
until unless I completed the Python operators, I won't give any kind of assignments because of the silly things actually. Okay. So
Okay.
once I done the Python operators, when I started the Python control statements, there you should have some kind of logical ability questions. So we can go about, you can go and solve a lot of programs, okay, with help of the Python once I started control statements. Clear?
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
As of now, we can try to be understood the subject what I explained here. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
So,
you.
and yes, whatever the file I share with you, the same file we can download and we can re-execute it if you have any doubts.
Okay.
Yeah, with reference of that file also we can execute your work ourselves also as well. Okay, Akhilesh and Pavani and Rajesh and Srilekha, that's for today's class. We'll catch up by tomorrow for understanding of data types in
Uh,
Python language.
Anjan, I have a small thing. It's silly
Sure,
basically.
no problem.
So, is there a way where Jupyter can actually show things like what a statement means? Like in the collab notebook, right?
Hmm.
So if you do, like if you switch to the other tab,
Okay,
I
that's
think.
a nice question only. Why are you saying it's a silly question? It's a nice question. Hmm?
So when I'm trying to find it on, when I'm running on my local notebook, it's not giving me details about, okay, what does a print means or
Okay,
something.
so let me share that information. Okay.
Yeah, is there something like a widget that I have to enable?
Yeah, sure. Just opening Anaconda. Okay. So if you don't know something in a Python programming language, we will have a lot of documentation. Okay.
Hmm.
So for example, in a Jupyter notebook, so we just open it, and once open the Jupyter notebook from the Anaconda, then we can try to open your file from the download folder. Okay, so we can navigate to your download folder. We can open it. Whatever the program I explained as of now, the
Hmm.
same program can try to be open it, which is same as right. Whatever I executed in a Google Colab, the same thing which is
Yeah,
there in a
yeah.
Jupyter notebook. Nothing much difference. Okay.
So open a new cell and type
Yeah.
print.
Print. So you are looking to understood the what exactly the print function, right? So you're not getting
No,
any, you're not
yeah,
getting a description, something like this, right?
yeah.
So if you want to know about print function, okay, so that's what Google is itself, the Google Colab, it's the internal tool of the Google, right? So that they
Hmm.
created kind of help inbuilt. Okay, but in case of Jupyter,
Okay,
it's not there. So if you want to get that particular help, we have direct help function is there. So within this
okay, okay,
function, we can give the you can give it whatever you want to know it. So which is giving
okay,
full description what exactly this function is doing. Okay.
okay, okay.
For
Makes
example,
sense.
if you don't know about ID function, then we just simply use the help of ID, then we can able to do it. For example, if you don't
Okay.
know anything about type function, you don't know what exactly the type function, but you want to know it actually. Okay,
Hmm.
but so you just simply type help of type, then you will be getting a lot of description. So this much of information is there in a type. I was just explain type is just a return the data type. As of now, I was not done, but usually type what it is doing, it was return the data type of any variable, right?
Okay, yeah.
So this kind of help we can do with help of the help function in case of Jupyter Notebook.
Okay,
In case
cool.
of
Got
Google
it.
Colab, so simply which is providing what exactly this function is doing. Okay,
Yeah,
without help and the stuff. So you simply type it automatically. You will be getting what exactly this one. Or you're not
exactly.
typing, just you're trying to doing. It's Python makes easy because of these guys. Otherwise, Python is little tough again. I hope you clear and
Yep,
make sure
very clear.
you can re-practice it whatever I explained for today's class, and it will help you to grab more information, and meanwhile we can look at some more information, other resources, whatever I explained for today's class. Okay.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye Rajesh and bye Srileka. See you. Take care.